You may think I'm gonna be like, I don't know, I don't know. This is Squid Girl. This is the anime I told all y'all about. I went to college and everybody told me I had bad taste in anime, and then they made me watch this shit, and it was about like a little girl getting basically sexually assaulted by like an octopus or some shit. It it needs to be removed from reality, and anybody that likes this, I was gonna put you need to be in jail, but instead remove this from reality, and if we can find people that actually enjoy that show, we might as well toss them in a prison. All right, all right. Next, I know it's lower, but if I can't finish it, then then that means it sucks so much that it deserves to be lower than trash. Because if it's trash, I can at least sit through it. So removed from reality was actually just regulated for Squid Girl. It's the only thing that should be removed from reality. Um, as for couldn't finish, it's actually going to be a lot of these at first. So I'm just going to knock out the ones that are kind of hard to see. This one is Gundam. I know there's like a big like crave for giant robots in space and all that other crap, but when I watched this show as a kid, it was like a 1980s stuff, and I didn't really I don't really care about like robot s transformation stuff, and the story writing was a little boring. Like everything seemed like to be around like politics and petitions and stuff, but then like everything was resolved like in outer space and like a Star Wars s like kind of way, and I just wasn't into it like at all. Like I got through like 3 or 4 episodes, and I was just like, this is way too old for me, and I the action isn't doing anything for me, so I couldn't finish it. For people that actually have this taste, I wanted to put this in not for me, but unfortunately, the couldn't finish aspect of this show happened more for me than not for me, because yeah, I can say that that stuff's not for me, which is the reason why I put it so low, but at the same time I actually can't finish it. The thing is basically done in like old-timey terrible like it runs like early One Piece episodes, but 10 times worse. So it just looks like shit. uh I didn't care about the plot, and the action was not great, and that was enough for me to be like, okay, I'm not finishing this. So it isn't for me, but I also couldn't finish it because it just dragged on with talking, and I just didn't like it. Okay, um, next, I already had like a not a pre-script, but I already had like certain things that I already had set up. I'm gonna put Gundam's gonna be on the top of not finished because of taste, but an anime I'll just grab right here is Fire Force. Fire Force, I couldn't finish. Like this isn't a not for me thing. As soon as I got the premise of this, like they're firefighters that fight like demon fires or whatever, and there's like it was like immediately like, okay, no, this show sucks. And anybody who's recommended me or told me different is basically like, yes, the premise is dumb, but some of the fights are clean, which makes me think that they're just like shonen action junkies. And uh, to for my taste, action isn't enough to hold up a story because I actually pay attention to what's being said. And the Fire Source story, as far as I'm concerned, is really weak. Like it starts off hella weak, and I know it picks up a little bit later, but I don't care. All right, next. Um, I'm only gonna do a couple more of these couldn't finish ones because some of these I basically finished, but I didn't follow through. Um, what's one more? Okay, Gold. I'm sorry, JoJo. JoJo's down here too, dude. They start off with killing a dog. Like I got like 5 dogs. Like I'm sorry. Like there are different ways to make Dio unlikable for a rivalry start. They don't need to cook an animal, and the whole vampire story, especially after I was exposed to like all of this, was coming off kind of boring. I know they get stands. I know they get time powers. I know I should get around to watching it, but every time I see it, I'm like, the everybody looks the fucking same. And I don't like looking at it. I don't like looking at it. The stands to me, like their powers are cool, but it's just kind of like I don't know. They're like phantoms, but they're like floating. Like I think it's more of a not for me. But because it did like extra steps to kick me in the stomach when I was trying to watch the damn thing, especially since it starts off in this like it starts off with like a carousel in a mansion, which makes already uh JoJo a little bit unrelatable because a lot of these other characters they can come from an orphanage, which isn't as relatable, but you're alone, so I can relate with that and all this other stuff. And you don't even start to kind of like see that JoJo's even the main character until the dog burning thing, which the dog basically got no screen time, so a lot of people like gloss over it. But for me, it was just kind of like, oh, they just off the dog. They're they're basically like jumping the shark. So I don't want to give them too much of our time because just like Gundam, you guys have to remember this. Just like Gundam, JoJo has like an even. I'd say Gundam's fan base is actually bigger, but JoJo's fan base is louder. It's got more memes. All right. I think I'm gonna be able to move to. I think I'm gonna be able to move to trash now. Hold on. Let me make one last glance here. Um. Yep. I think we can move up. Those three, I literally couldn't do anything. Like they were so bad. All right. Let me glance at chat. Let me see how mad y'all are mad. Okay. Oh, hey Ash. Oh, sweet, Ash, you're starting Zexel. I'm doing a tier list, so you guys, I'm not going to be able to see you, and I'm going to peek in. This is for YouTube. Andrea's here, too? Hey, what up, brother? Alright. So, these, removed from reality, couldn't finish. Now we're getting the animes I've actually, like, done. But they suck dick. Now, this could be, like, a lot of them, but I'm going to be not as hard on some of them. Alright? And I'm also not going to I'm not gonna go into spoilers. I guess since Ash is here, I can't talk about Zexel. Same with Spike. But certain anime I'm going to spoil that nobody cares about, and all this other stuff too. So as for trash, I know this is like a household name or whatever, but Fairy Tail fucking sucks, dude. Fairy Tail is so trash, dude. Literally, people tell me that I should get involved in this show because there's boobs in it. Like, I mean, there's boobs in every anime, but the fact that that's what people told me, like, yo, there's big titties in it. When they don't even go into the whole Natsu being the dragon shit, like, it's just kind of like, that just goes to show you, like, what everybody's IQ is at while watching this show. And then when I watched it, I was just like, this is like if Bleach, Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece, all that was just, like, terrible. Because I wasn't into any of it. And most people tell me with this show to skip all the way to, like some weird exam when Natsu comes back or something. And I was just like, yeah, dude, I'm not doing that. I never should have to skip. I shouldn't never have to if I don't want to. I should never have to skip most of your story and then be brought up with stuff later. Alright. What is another trash one? I'm just looking for the few trash ones. I think I'm going to put one more down here, and then I'm going to move on for Not For Me. Really, I'd like to put all the Not For Me's in trash, because they actually are garbage, but I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be nice. I really think that's kind of all of them. I don't want to do that. Oh, here it is. Seven Deadly Sins. This one sucks too. I was looking for it. Some of these are like cropped wrong, so I have to like really read them. Seven Deadly Sins was talked up just like Fairy Tail, except Seven Deadly Sins is even worse for me because the characters are like so unrelatable and they try to make them overpowered like off the gate, and it's just I don't know, man. It's just random blood explosions, and then it doesn't even get remotely cool until the commandments come, and there's only like one good scene in that. Watching 4 seasons of a show, and for the animation and everything to go down, just for that was terrible payoff. And I didn't really like the main character, and the whole thing that it's around like a love a girl or something. It's so terrible, dude. Um, I'm gonna move on and go for the not for me's because I don't think too many of these deserve that. Like I was thinking Boku no Hero, but I don't think it's trash. I just think it's not very good. Where all these are like couldn't finish, couldn't be ass, and terrible. These are undoubtedly terrible to me. All right, for not for me, there's gonna be like I think 2 again for this. I'll start with this one. This for people that can't tell by the logo is reincarnated as a slime. I watched this shit and it made me feel yucky watching it. And I feel like the people that enjoy watching this, or I know, every person that's ever recommended me to watch this literally hates our current reality and they want to be reincarnated as a slime. So when I watch this, and it's like all animes that relate to this, I'm going to do this with Food Wars and Kokono Basket later. All animes that relate to this kind of like, I forget the word, where you're like teleported into another place or whatever. All animes that are like this are garbage. All right, I will say this of the three, um, animes like this where you're teleported into a place that you're not supposed to be are a league above the basketball and the Food Wars anime. But I wanted to specifically say this is the reason why I stay away from them. Every time I watch animes like this, it's just kind of like I don't know. I'd say Sword Art Online actually tackled this the best, and it's because I don't know. The way they do it is kind of like I don't know why Andre killed me, dude. What a bastard. Uh, it's just bad. Like the best way I can describe it is like it's a blob, and they try to experiment with like the whole blob thing, and it turns out to be like a little kid, and then it gets better like way later on, but it's when the guy isn't even a blob anymore. So it's just kind of like, why did you have to make the weird like stuff involved and the payoff and that is equivalent to a giant ass Deus Ex Machina. So I just don't fuck with it at all. Speaking of things I don't fuck with, oh wait. I forgot one just not finished, but there's not much to say about this show. This show puts me to sleep. I forgot about this. Jujutsu Kaisen puts me to fucking sleep. Anybody that tells me the show is good, it's just like Gojo is flexes so hard that I could stay in the show. There's not much to say here. It's gross with the finger swallowing. All the demons look designed like crap. The main hero is unrelatable, and if you don't like Gojo, you'll never finish this. This is so fucking boring. I forgot about that one. Like one, no lie, true story. I was on like episode 9 or whatever watching it, and I almost fell asleep 5 minutes in, and then like it felt like 30 minutes went by, and then like you know how every anime has that like cutaway or whatever, where like halfway you go through and then it shows like I don't know like Zoro cutting the thing or whatever. It showed the cutaway or whatever, or like most of you watch Demon Slayer. It's like they'll show like they'll make a sword swing and then it will show some Japanese stuff. Um, for like a second, as in like this is the commercial break. Jujutsu Kaisen's one came up and I was just like, oh my god, I still have half an episode to go. Like, oh my god, this is awful. I'll move on though. Next for not for me. This is where the rest of them is. I was jokingly gonna put Airbud for this shit, but I'm not. I won't prank you guys for liking these weird ass animes forever. Where is it? I know it's around here somewhere. No. Where is basket? Where's basketball? Not that. I know it's here. I'm just blind as a bat, apparently. I'll leave the basketball thing alone, I guess, until I see it later. Just assume it's here with Food Wars. Food Wars will take this ass whooping for now. Food Wars is here. Any anime that I'm watching somebody cook food, dude. Okay, look, guys. Okay, look. Any anime that is basketball, honestly, the reincarnations too, or like a sports one or food. Look, let's just say the stakes are up, right? Let's just do a food war. Stakes is up, right? If I don't cook this pancake properly, my sister dies or something. So what do you think's gonna happen? Right? He's gonna cook it properly. Like there's nothing there, dude. I every time I hear people bragging about food wars or sports anime, I'm like, dude, okay, sports anime, let's say basketball, right? Next point wins. The main hero threw the basketball. He makes the shot. Like, come on. It's so boring. I'd rather watch Airbud. At least it's like a dog, and everyone's just like, what the heck, a dog? Like, what the dog doing? Like, for real though. Alright, I actually can't find it, so I'm gonna move on to F tier, alright, guys? Alright, let me check on y'all. I wanna see if you guys have bitten each other's heads off. Yeah, I can't watch good. When you said you were watching the movie, I was just like, oh my god, that show sucks. Yeah, it was SAO that. Okay, so SAO fucking pioneered fucking isekais or whatever, and then all of a sudden we're getting like shitty one after shitty one over and over and over. All right, this is where the tier list actually begins. All right, so in F tier, you guys aren't probably gonna know what the fuck this is, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. This is Zatch Bell. So, for those that don't know what the fuck Zatch Bell is, just picture a guy. I'm not gonna Google every little thing if y'all don't know the anime, but it's basically a show about a guy that has like a Pokemon. Like it's like a doll-looking thing, and they do small ass battles. Excuse me. I've watched the whole thing as a kid, but I can't lie. The show sucks. Like it sucks, but I watched the damn thing. Even if I was a kid and I had all these, I wouldn't watch them. So that's about what I watch. But it was based, just take the worst type of Pokemon story and put it into there. It's just a small anime with the tellings that a big company has. It's bad, but it's at least entertaining. Cause just picture a Pokemon battle. Like it's just fun to watch. All right. Is there any more Fs? Because I feel like there are. Oh, there's the basketball one. I found it. Yep, trash. Same thing I said about. Oh, hold on. Same thing I said about Food Wars. Same thing. Same goddamn thing. He's gonna make the basket. He didn't make the basket. And then what really sells a lot of people on these is like they're like, but the characters are written well. And it's just like, I mean, you could throw them into any anime. It wouldn't really matter. All right. I think I got one more F. Yeah. Okay. Next F is Inuyasha. I don't know if y'all have ever watched that, but that's literally Demon Slayer before Demon Slayer. Like, except instead of the protagonist being like more noble and kind, it's a half breed, I think, demon or something. Throughout the old show, but all those folklores that Demon Slayer is eventually gonna rip off, it started here. But the show is really bad. Like it's like the problem with it is it hasn't aged well. First off, it looks like shit. Even if they get it a Kai, right, for Gundam and all that. Even if they give it a Kai, the show is basically like this, right? There's some random girl, I guess, who has a talisman or some powers, and if she says anything, the demon will do it. So the whole joke is like she goes to this like past realm, and demons kept attacking them, and she's trying to help the village, and this demon doesn't want to help them, but every time she says to do something, he does it. So like it starts off with simple stuff like sit and and like attack. But like the supporting cast is like the scared shaman, some pictures of Metsu, but he doesn't have cool powers, and then some random cat boy, and then a girl that rides like a tiger, and they're all boring. Only the two main leads are okay, but the girl doesn't do anything but command. But it's not like Pokemon; she just goes help us. So she's basically damsel in distress, and then it's just Inuyasha versus like this pretty boy, and it's really not enough to string you along to the end, but it does have a good opening and ending. I will give it that. I will give some of these that too. They have good openings and stuff, but they suck. I'm gonna peek at if Inuyasha hurt anybody's there. I look and immediately see Andre say, "What is Sonic X there?" It's anime I finished. It's anime, dude. What do you want? All right. Hold on. We're almost done with all the bad. Once we're done with all the bad, I can actually start talking about like good anime. All right, so here's the next two. I want to say. No. Okay, Full Metal Alchemist goes here. All right, here we go with this. The thing with Full Metal Alchemist is it starts with like a good hook with the brothers doing the whole thing with their mom or whatever, where it goes south and the journey begins to try to fix it. But the show immediately just turns into the main character's short. The brother, like they keep talking about how the brother's like this. They got their generic waifu thing, and then it spends like 80% in the military of the thing or small random villages of storytelling, and it's just the sins or whatever you want to call them are just not that interesting. The only cool one was like the girl, like Lust, I guess, and then the way she gets taken out, it's just kind of like, oh wow, this was the one that she got beat by a lighter. What the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like it didn't have really good payoff, and when they finally showed the final baddie, everybody just kind of wailed on him for free. So terrible payoff. The journey was kind of rough, and the humor didn't stick. Like it was just kind of boring. Like the main times I even watched this, it was just late at night and it was on. But if I had to watch anything else besides maybe these two, I would have watched it. Next is Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer is actually lower. The reason why I have it so high is because it's a decent run-in-the-mill story. Like, the main protag being this mass assailant to saving everybody from goblins, okay. But it's really low because it has, like, a against TOS starting scene as the hook, where they didn't really need to do that, but that rose its popularity. So everybody loved Goblin Slayer because they saw that stunning scene in action, probably jerked off to it, and now they're just watching the rest of it. And it's got the whole, there's a girl with big boobs, there's a girl that likes him that's annoying, like, there's a queen thing. There's just so much, like, random fan service to keep this thing alive because of the sexual arousal that people got from the bad shit. So, for me, it's just kind of like, it's fine. What I mean fine, it's just kind of like, subpar, and it had one scene that gravitated an entire big audience that talks it up, even though it's trash. Alright, next. The payoff, too, with his mask off was lame as hell. I'll say that. Like, I didn't sit there and go, oh! It was that person we saw that one time. It was just kind of like, it was like Kakashi with his mask off. It was like, okay, that's what he looks like. Cool. I think there's one more I can glue down here. Yeah, I'll do it. Lupin the Third. This one actually got a recent reboot. And it's not a bad gangster story. It's just kind of like... The issue is it's old as fuck. That's going to drag a lot of these older ones down. It's old as fuck, and it's just your typical gangster story. I will say that it's actually probably better than both of these because of like the stuff that they could get away with back then, like Dragon Ball and stuff like that. There was a lot more stuff they could get away with, like the girl, like there's beer in it, you know what I mean? Like there's like a lot less like, and I don't mean beer like like maybe in Goblin Slayer pub or something like that. I mean, like it's like they're like they got cans of alcohol and being drunk is like relevant or something during a scene or whatever, and they're trying to get like hookers and like it's a gangster story, so it's just kind of hard, but it's kind of boring. Like a lot of the scenes, the person will just be like running away while they're getting shot at, and of course the guys can't hit him or something, even though he's like lengthy and everything. Um, I want to squeeze a little bit more down here. I might move some down just so that the ones at the top can be alone. But for now, I'll do that. And then if I get to the top and it's getting cramped, I'll move some down. So that's why they're ordered. Like, I put Zatchbell higher than Inuyasha because it was kind of a treat to watch. No, the Inuyasha's better. But, Goblin Slayer is definitely the worst. This one's good. And this one has a good legacy. Alright. I'll just keep cramming them and I'll move them down as they go. But if it's something's like high tier and I move it down a whole tier, be like, well, it's ordered. So it's like my balls. Alright. I'm running out of bad ones. That's my issue here. I really should crunch all these bad ones together. Here, let me just start doing it now. I'll put them all in F. Because it's mostly complaints. I'll leave Lupin there, though. I'll leave Lupin there. Okay. So better than Lupin. But trash, kind of. Kill la Kill. Or Hunter x Hunter, I mean. And Kill la Kill is going to be next, so I might as well. I'll do the Hunter x Hunter. This is like worse Naruto and Sasuke tuning exams. Like, it just sucks. There's two random boys and, like, a pedophile. And it doesn't get interesting until the final guy shows up. Like the boxing, the thunder speed, all that other crap is just boring. The main bad guys of like Akaksi members, by the time they're even brought out, they're like fodderizing each other. It's just not a very good show. Like, I'm not gonna say it's worse. It's better because I'm talking about it now. Actually, I'll put it a little higher than Lupin. Because actually the powers in it are cool. They're watching a gangster story, but for something like this, for something like for like an anime, like a shonen or whatever, it's kind of bad. Andre, stop killing me, you fucking bastard. Alright. And then Kill la Kill. Kill la Kill... Hold on, I'm gonna put it higher. Kill la Kill is... If you're watching this, you're kind of down bad. Alright? I'll actually put it lower than Lupin. The thing is this thing is animated really well. So if you actually are there for the action and you're not just sitting there jerking off to this, which you are, then it's not terrible, but it is like it does hit you over the head with like fabrics and all this other crap. So it's kind of like, how like a lot of anime have like theming, right? Like, let's take Naruto. Or no, let's take One Piece, right? One Piece has got the whole scurvy pirates. I'm just going to leave the server because I'm pretty sure Andre just ruined this farming area by killing us because he killed the goon that was attacking me. I don't know why you did that, dude, but now I have to recreate that on the side. So dumb. Okay, look. For bounty, I guess. I hope this isn't the same server. It is... Please stop killing us for bounty. I'll give you as much bounty as possible afterwards. I don't care about bounty. Alright, look. Okay. So like I said, if you're not horny... I mean, you're watching this because you're horny. But it's like a preteen girl, so you're kind of playing with fire. And the humor's kind of fast and it's animated okay. So I'm not going to say it's worse than these. I'd sooner watch this than this. But... watch it alone. If somebody catches you watching this, especially if you're like hands in your pants, you're fucking done, dude. Alright. Let's move on. Okay. This is when it's gonna start hurting, guys. So let's just start with some of the easier ones. Alright, Gold, don't be mad. This is where I think Bleach should be. Hold on. Bleach. Down here, C tier. It is run in the mill. Alright? We are finally at average animes. and Bleach is run of the mill as hell. I know you guys like the Bankai, Zenkato, Ichigo's super forms and all that stuff, but this show literally was never made to be what you guys like about the show. It is all authors, like the author being like, "Oh shoot, I remember that." So he is like a terrible storyboard, like like he just doesn't know how to write a story, okay? And it's just kind of like this, right? Let's say you're an average Bleach watcher, right? If you do not like the first part and you drop it, everybody will tell you it gets good a bit later, right? So this is what the start of the series is like. It's Ichigo being pounded or slapped out of his soul or whatever, so that he can kill the next Goblin of the Week. It's one of those. It's one of those Demon of the Week kind of things. Until eventually they find out that she's been doing this, which schedules her execution, and the Soul Society arc actually takes off. But the problem is, it's like you have to do the training art with Bankai, which is kind of like a little too swift to be kind of like earned. And then once you're in there, a lot of the fights break down to like random clang to Ichigo just doing like a gale. Like stuff that you see Zoro do on a regular basis where people's like snore, right? And his random sword thing. And it doesn't even like take off until they're like actually doing this rat race to the middle where at any moment he could run into a captain. And then once the whole thing ends, it doesn't get good again until like all those like people in white show up, or and then the Aizen stuff. And even then it's like Aizen's shit was okay, but it's all like floating behind blue skies, so you're not looking at a background, you're just staring at an anime character like talk with a blue background. So there's nothing really to look at besides the sub down there. And then it's all like sword, dude, it's just way too much swords. It's just not that much. It's not really interesting. Like it'd be like if the first thing of Demon Slayer, uh, the first thing of Demon Slayer was just a Hashira right away. It's good that you save the better stuff and abilities for later. Like you don't want to throw them all at everybody right away, because then when the creator is just like, I want to bring the character back, it's just like, how can he even compete? And then that's when it gets a little muddy. And I never, this was seen as the big three, and I just never, I tried to watch this. I attempted to watch this like 6 times. I even watched it with friends to get through it. I'm always ending up turning it off or closing the manga because I don't care for Ichigo's kid. I'm just moving on. It belongs to be an average anime. It never should have been part of the big three. I don't know why it was even considered the big three at one point. Alright, let me get to the next one. This I'm actually running out of bad ones. So get ready for less ranting and more positivity, guys. I wanted to start with positivity, but then it's just there. You want the grand finale. So next, I'm actually gonna put this a little lower than Bleach, and it's not because this isn't as engaging, right? This is Code Geass for those that can't really tell. Code Geass is a really good show. However, it's kind of short, and the manipulation stuff gets a little wonky in it, and it's kind of like poor explained, and then like the payoff to the end of the story is kind of lame too, even though it's resolved in what would seem to be a smart way. The thing that Bleach has over it is Bleach has like a lot of action scenes, and it's also longer. Where this is kind of like a lot of nothingness and like randomly hanging out at a school to like, we're at school, we're just chilling and vibing or whatever, right? To global war, and it just gives me way too much of like a Gundam vibe. I only liked the main character, and then he randomly had like a sex slave, and it was just kind of random for the most part. When he tried to make it smart, and there was a series that just did it better, that ran at the same time in it, and I'll talk about it later. Speaking of older shows that were like kind of like a thing or whatever, this one's gonna be really hard to see. This is Cowboy Bebop. I don't even know if any of you even watch this shit, but this is another old one, and this one's like gangster. Picture Lupin, but in space, and I know eventually they do that anyway, but it's just like, the character. This is like, I guess, a series that was more made for the '90s attitude. So it's kind of got more of that attitude, raunchy uh, humor to it, but it does have weird stuff in it. Like there's like a cat girl that's randomly like noi, and then there's like a drunk that's constantly getting herself into weird situations, but at least she's kind of funny. The main character is pretty cool, and then they have like a random butch. But as far as action, it's just as limited as some of these other ones where it's just like, and then he pulled a gun out, and it's just like, ooh, like you know what I mean? Like it's just the stakes are kind of whatever for what was also playing when I was experiencing it as a kid, which kind of soiled it because it would have been like this is lower tier because better stuff came out, but now it's like lower. It's even lower than it should be because compared to everything else, it just kind of seems mundane. Like you could even argue that's the Seven Deadly Sins, Fairy Tale, or all these other ones below it have like way better action in it, but the storytelling was just better. It's just calm. Like if you're looking for an anime like that, it's basically S. All right. Oh yeah, this is what I meant by I really want to crunch them up, because here's another kind of rough one that I couldn't really see. This one is No Game, No Life. This one's worse. It's better than this shit though. This game. Okay, so the way this anime goes is a brother and sister get transported to another world. So I guess like another Zinka, whatever. You know what I'm talking about? The slime shit. And okay, they're already kind of like touching each other kind of weird, and the girl's kind of like lolly-esque, so that made me uncomfortable. But then when you're actually in the thing, they try to do something clever with like cards or whatever, and I'm like, oh, this is just gonna be like a poker anime or whatever. But it gets a little bit more interesting. It's just kind of like the god just invites them there, and you have to just like kind of hold the L, like you kind of have to just suspend your disbelief the whole time and then deal with like the yucky bullshit, and they try to make it like a sibling thing like Demon Slayer, but it's actually just kind of awkward. But for like watchability and all that stuff, it looks good. The games are kind of creative, and them going all the way up is a little bit of fun to like sit through. That's why it's kind of over here with these guys, but there is some cons to it where I'm like, I don't really want to watch this right now. Is there any more I can stick down here before we get to the good stuff? I think... Okay. So this is what I'll do, because now we actually are getting to the good stuff, and I don't know how much crap I'm going to be able to fill in it. So let's move No Game, No Life to better than Hunter x Hunter and Cowboy Bebop here, and then we'll just keep these two here. Because like I said, these are kind of boring, but Cowboy Bebop is definitely better than Lupin. And then Hunter x Hunter, for the action, it is better than this. But Lupin's not F. It's actually like a treat if you're down with that old school gangster stuff. Let me look at it before we go. Isekai, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff in there. Yeah. I need a monster, the club of that damn Dino Pelly. Okay. Let's get back in there, guys. I got a little bit more to go, and then I'll clip it for YouTube, okay? Some of y'all are like, I see a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. What the fuck, Muffin? We'll get to it. Okay. Who is bottom of the barrel for best now? All right, we'll start weeding them out, guys. At the start of B tier is Shin-Chan. Y'all are like, what the fuck is this? Okay, a really quick explanation as to what this is. I'm pretty sure this is just a little kid in like preschool, and he can just do whatever he wants as his family just goes through like struggles. So for anybody that thinks that I've never liked slice of life anime, There's some there, but it's got to be kind of like, I don't know. It's got to be kind of interesting. So, like, for instance, this kid likes to moon people, prank people, whatever, right? And his whole thing is like twerking. It's kind of funny. And when I watched this, I was also a little kid, so it was relatable. It was just like, oh, he's just pranking everybody, while their parents deal with their whole relationship. So that's kind of like something that you can kind of like get along with. And then he's got the hots for his teacher, and then good friends that he gets in trouble with. So it's like it's grounded enough where the consequences for this guy doing stuff that's basically illegal are fine because he's a child. So you can like do that, and then like a lot of the characters are very likable. The father, for instance, reminds me a lot of my father before he passed away, and the mother was like my mom, and then he's got like a little sister that's like the Rugrats like um Dill or whatever, where she can't talk. He's old enough to talk and mess around, but he's got like to take care of her and stuff. And then the family have to like work, and they do stuff like, how are we gonna afford for the house? You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? They tackle like a lot of stuff, but for the most part, it stays lighthearted, and it's not like a drama. It's very episodic, but it's very 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 funny. But watch it, realistically, it should be removed from reality. But watch it if you're still under 18, because as an adult, I can't watch it anymore. That little kid moons too much, and they'd be like, "Why are you looking at this little kid shake his ass or whatever?" You know what I mean? The FBI. All right. Next is Sword Art Online. I'm actually gonna put it higher than Shin-Chan. I know. Sword Art Online trash. Blah blah blah. But here's the thing, guys. Sword Art Online was actually hype season one. Like, I don't know why everybody acting like it wasn't really good. Season two was a little rough, but I was invested enough to watch it to the end. I didn't really like the tentacle scene and the whole downgrade from Fairies Wood, whatever, but I was just like, oh, it's like swords but with flight. And I didn't like the whole cousin situation, so it really brings that stuff down. But for the hype stuff that happened as far as like a video game and all that stuff, it was really engaging. And I was actually invested all the way to Gun Gale. Like, Gun Gale for me was actually kind of a treat. I liked the whole faster than a bullet. It seemed only necessary that this god sword character is like, I'm just gonna bring a gun to a sword fight. Like, and he was actually like working people, and the whole the dude the skull guy with a gun, the antagonist of season three, was really cool. Season two was rough. Season one was great, and then season three, I liked it. But season four was when the show was just like trash, trash, trash. And I know it's only getting trasher, but you can't act like those first three seasons of like watchable anime that was like really good weren't really fun. When everybody heard, oh, this is an anime where you're trapped in a video game, and if you die in the game, you die in real life. Like, that was unheard of in an anime. Really, it should have just ended after the first season with like this unconclusive, will he find his online girlfriend? But the series did well, and they kept milking it. So, unfortunately, we got rest of it. But I did like the thing. So I'm putting it above Shin-Chan. It was actually not that bad. I just couldn't sit through it anymore. I was already starting to watch other shit that was better. All right. Speaking of stuff that's just a little bit better than it, and I know Shin-Chan's fun, but this is kind of like a quirky slice of life compared to like another scaling thing. This is Overly Cautious Hero. Look, I didn't really want to put this thing this high, but I was engaged until the end. All right, and I can't fault a series for having like a great overall story and then for it to be trash near the end, because sometimes series that just kick off crazy, and then by the time they're concluded, they're just kind of stringing you along. Like later when I get to Naruto was like literally amazing until we got to like the war arc, until Madara showed up. And even some of that war arc stuff people aren't a fan of. But you can't act like Naruto as a series was trash because of a couple arcs you didn't like. So, Overly Cautious is just, for those that don't know, it's a guy that is thrown into a video game, but instead of doing like regular tutorials and then like fighting stuff, I think he's been put in a game that's on hard mode, but nobody realized it yet, and he's like over preparing for every situation he's in, which starts out pretty humorous. It does get old, but by the time it gets old, you're already like invested, and by the time the story gets bad, you're already invested, so you watch it till the end. But it's fine. Just like Sword Art, it starts off kind of strong, and it's shorter, so you don't feel as shitty not continuing it when you drop off randomly. All right, do one more peek. Someone try to kill you. Oh, they're arguing. I think he's talking about Seven Deadly Sins. All right, I'm moving on to the next one. There's not much more to say about this show. It was okay. I know the real big zingers are coming up soon. All right, I'm gonna do Berserk. Look, the Berserk anime is kind of trash, like kind of. I'm actually gonna put it here and see. I just couldn't really tell where it was. It's a little bit better than Bleach. The anime kind of sucks, but and I hate to go back on you guys. The anime kind of sucks, but the manga's crazy. So it's just kind of like the manga's drawn really well, and the anime is like poor quality, but it's still the same tackled subjects. And the main character of this show is like in a league of his own. So it's just like it'd be like if this thing was made now, oh my god, it would probably be S. Like no cap, it would be S. But because it was like it's got that like it looks like Lupin. Okay? It looks like Lupin in quality, alright? So even though it's like really good, like it's kind of trash. But it's better than these two. Because when you find out some of the lore dumps in that, if any of you guys eventually check it out, you'll be like, oh, wow, that is fucked up. And it doesn't have to do something like Goblin Slayer did to be that crazy fucked up, but it's somehow more fucked up than this, even though this one did, like, the thing that you're not supposed to do. Surprisingly. But that's all I have to really say about it. I'm pretty sure, just to give you a rundown of the character, I think demons in that show can't die unless you kill them with demon stuff, and he's like every bit of lore with this character is kind of crazy, and it doesn't have to jump the shark by being like, and he was all along related to God or something like that. He's actually just an average Joe. That is crazy. Any more down here? My Hero. I don't know how this one slipped through the cracks. My Hero is... I'd say it's better than X Hunter. And then I'm just going to put the Thirsty Boys in F tier. Because you should be ashamed of yourself. My Hero is a decent anime. If you have never watched an anime ever, start here, I guess. But, if you want to actually watch real anime, watch literally any other one. Because it is like, it's pretty formulaic and not that interesting to watch. I don't know how, like, I think even Invincible did it better. Like, I don't know how people can watch this show where this guy has random bursts of superhuman strength. And then every time he does it, his body gets, like, destroyed. And they're interested in that. Like, the villains are pretty rough. It's kind of like the tuning exams, but a random, like, other character takes the spotlight instead of the main hero. So it's just boring. It's got okay scenes. The Brooklyn Bash and all that. Like, it's okay. But, yeah, this show sucks. Like, it's just not great. Like, there's not much more to say about it other than the fact that it just takes the tuning exams of Naruto or whatever, and instead of ninjutsu, put quirks, which is the same thing, and just have them fight each other, which you think is crazy, but a lot of people's powers are kind of lame, and that's the joke with a lot of the early ones. And yes, the quirks have been getting better, but like I'm pretty sure first season it's just like fire and ice, right? Superhuman strength. I think one girl with jugs, and again down bad, is just like pulls a weapon out of her stomach or something. Like, it's just kind of boring. I'm moving on. That show is bland. I heard the writing in it first couple seasons was good for some people. Um, and I haven't actually watched a lot of it as of late. Like once I got first done with the first set of seasons, I didn't watch anymore. And apparently everybody says it. Same situation with Seven Deadly Sins. I'm not gonna come back to it. I didn't really like it, and if people are actually saying it's worse, and I already didn't like it from the begin with, I'm not coming back around. Plus, I saw manga stuff, and it's just kind of boring. All right, let's go back up, because I'm back to the negativity, but haven't gotten there yet. Are we at A yet? No, we're not at A yet. Okay, let's do case close. Case close is actually higher than that. Case close I'll put above Shin-Chan. So, again, this is probably one you guys didn't watch. I'm proving to everybody that I actually watched a lot of anime, because everybody thinks that I don't watch anime or whatever. I don't really have anything to say about a lot of these trash ones. But Case Close, the premise of the story is simple. The best detective in the world got drugged, and now he's like a kid. And he got adopted by a detective, and every time there's like a murder mystery or something, he just drugs his dad and then tries to talk as him and tell everybody who did the murder or whatever like that. And they do little sprinkles of clues and stuff like that, and it's just interesting to watch while hiding the identity of this guy. I don't think they really needed to do that, but other than that, he'd be a lone wolf. So when he does stuff like this, like running around the house as a kid, it creates like very interesting scenes. So it's pretty good. Better than Shin-Chan because it makes you think, but not as good as something like Sword Art or My Hero Cautious Hero, because there's like no action in it. It's just literally like, and then the murderer did this, which is interesting if you're down to that, but for the most part, it's just kind of rough. Okay. Any more? I think I can do one more down here. Here, matter of fact, let's put Shin-Chan here to average. A little bit above Berserk. Case close, average. And we'll leave these two here and then fill up B some more. Because I want S to be a little smaller. Alright. We're going to do Demon Slayer now. Demon Slayer's the next one. Look. Y'all have all heard me. I'm beating a dead horse. I'm just going to summarize it for the YouTube video. Dude, Demon Slayer kind of sucks. Okay? Look, it's animated beautifully. The characters are likable. Some of the humor sticks. Some of it's just noise. A lot of it is kind of junk. Okay? And for those people that watch the show because they're junkies on action scenes and they like the high budget, cool. But I can't help to sit there and watch and be like, when is it going to be over? To a character randomly completing feats that don't make any sense other than the fact that they're like, I believe in myself. And it's just kind of like, wow. Fuck me, I guess. And I just always feel dissatisfied. And I feel like Season 2 is nothing but fan service, and Season 1 was a bore. Everybody that ever talks about Demon Slayer is like, Season 1's a trash one, and Season 2 is the good one. And Season 2 is an amazing upgrade. But it's still just like an okay story. With plot holes that I've called out, but people like to defend them. If anybody watching this does go, oh, what plot holes are you talking about? I'll discuss it in like another video or something. But for now, that was a slog, and I'm so happy I was able to binge it. Because if I had to do that shit weekly, oh my god, I would have gagged out my own eyes. Like, it would have been bad. Every episode was just like, and then he swung his sword. See you next episode. I was just like, am I watching Dragon Ball? Like, what's going on? And then he breathed really hard, and somehow he was 3 times as fast. I was just like, what? Any more B's? Alright, well, we might as well rip this Band-Aid off. I'm gonna put it higher, and I'm actually gonna spread some of these guys a little lower. We'll put Sword Art a little lower, but overly cautious, and then finally knock down Code Geass. Yeah, because they're all kind of like the same tier. Okay, this is Tokyo Ghoul. Guys, Tokyo Ghoul Season 1 was not bad. Season 2 was trash, okay? So, it's like Demon Slayer, but the other way around. Everybody remembers the opening. Everybody thought it was cool when it came out. Don't act like you didn't. But it's got some plot holes. The main character's a little unbearable. And, but the action's good. Action's really good in it. If you're gonna ever watch something with like ghouls in it, which I don't know any other show that even has ghouls, watch season 1 of this, but avoid season 2 like the plague because the budget got cut in half or something like, and it's different producers. And while we're on the note of that, there's not much more to say than this other than the main hero gets badass and they go the wrong route in the manga. Like they should have did a different route and they didn't. So we got like, we're going to get what probably Attack on Titan's going to be getting. We're going to be getting a story that's kind of like half-baked rather than the one we actually want to see. But speaking of series that had a great season 1 but a terrible season 2, here's One Punch Man. There it is. This one's better than them. One Punch Man kind of like came out of nowhere and literally, no pun intended, smacked everybody in the face out of nowhere. This show was like a hit when it came out. No puns, guys. Literally a hit when it came out. And season 1 was pretty baller. I'll admit, I got tired of the main character talking about like mundane tasks and grocery shopping and all that. But I did have enough intrigue to come to the next season. Unfortunately, the second season was dog shit. So, and all the questions that I had pondered in the first season were gone. But it was still like Tokyo Ghoul, or even like one of them I just talked about earlier. Demon Slayer. They're all the same thing, yeah. They all just have like this increased budget for this. Better season 2. Good budget for the first season, good budget for the first season. So it was just kind of like, yeah, there's like some flaws in it, but overall, not bad. Not a bad show. I didn't like that all the time I had was Super Strength again, but Genos was pretty fun. And the whole Boris situation was kind of funny too. I watched it till the end. It wasn't bad. Season 2 was whatever though. And the whole One Punch Dilemma thing too, it kind of came with a community with it, and it made the show worse. I'm going to move on. Y'all like One Punch Man. Y'all know it. But there's not too much to say. Just like the show. Just one punch and it's over. I think there's one more dud here, and then I can talk about the good ones finally. Yeah, I guess it's finally time to talk about Bakugan. It's in the perfect tier list for this, too. Bakugan is another show. I'll put it with, yeah, I did actually like it more than Demon Slayer. I know. But, Bakugan is basically, it's a anime about a protag, right? They throw these like little toys out and they turn into animals and stuff like that. And his ace was like a red dragon, and basically it's not a tournament per se. It's kind of like this. They set it up as like an online database, and every person that even owns any of these is in their online database. Okay, and this guy is like okay at the game, and everybody's just like, you're probably the best in the group. And in the first episode of Hook, he runs into somebody who has the rare dark attribute deck or monsters or whatever, and he gets wrecked by this mysterious person as like something else is going on in the story. So there's like a big mystery on who that person is, and the mysterious person occasionally helps them. And there's like a big payoff when you find out who this mysterious person is. But the reason why I'm talking it up is just like One Punch Man and Tokyo Ghoul, after the first season ends, season 2 is like, it's not dog water, but it's just not what it was. So like the first one is like traveling from, you know what I mean, like to Egypt, you know what I mean, all these different places in the world to try to find out stuff. to now they're just in the Bakugan world, and it's like they only kept like half the cast, so you get like to keep the dorky nerd, the main character, and like the other guy who's supposed to be the rival, but he really isn't compared to like the mysterious figure. And they're all in the world just trying to tame new beasts that have different abilities or something like that, which sounds fun, but it's so fucking boring because it removed like the turn system and all the stuff you'd learn if you're paying attention to like new rules, which is always just like unfun. Anyway, now we can talk about good ones. No more negativity, guys. No more. Let me see. Now that the fire, let me see how bad everybody got when I said Demon Slayer sucks. My hero is literally Naruto. Nah, I mean, if anything, then that means this is a copy. Okay. No spoils, because the fucked up part, or the most fucked part. What are we talking about? Yeah, I didn't spoil Berserk. That one's too crazy to spoil. Hold on. Yo, people are guessing which are the best. Okay. I'm gonna go back to the list. I was just checking on y'all. Alright, next. This is the bottom of the list of A. So the worst A tier. Worst A. Yeah, I'll say it. Pokemon Journeys is the worst A. Alright. I know y'all don't watch Pokemon. Y'all don't watch Pokemon, so y'all don't know dick. But Pokemon Journeys is the most current season of Pokemon. It's Ash in the Sword and Shield region. The problem with this one though is they don't really spend that much time. Like they try to move away from the formula. In this one, it's not to break from the path already because they already did that with 2 other series. But it's getting to the point where like characters are catching legendaries like it's nothing. Like it's just it's not terrible, but compared to some of the like nostalgia stuff that you have for some of the rest of the shows, this one's kind of like the only thing that has going for it is it's prettier. The storytelling's okay. I'm not gonna say it's crazy, but it's definitely better than all of these. Like no cap. Like it's good. It's just a lot of people don't like Pokemon stuff because it's formulaic, but the thing with Pokemon, it writes itself. It's like the 8 badges, the elite, the leagues, and then like the champion stuff, and then like the stories along the way are episodic, or sometimes they're like a banger. So sometimes this can work in a favor of if you're binging it or watching it episodically. So let's say you're watching it every week. If an episode looks like it's gonna be junk, you don't have to watch it. Like not junk is in the sense of like if you wanted just to be there for the crazy intense battles or the character development and stuff like that, even though there's a lot of that in the side stories, you can skip it. It's easy to tell because a lot of the episodes will be like, and now we fight Brock or something like that. But there are some crazy scenes in this. Like I'm pretty sure that it starts with them like riding a Lugia. Like it's pretty good. But compared to some of the other Pokemon ones, I definitely say it's the worst. I'm not going to do all the Pokemons back to back. I just wanted to say that one was the worst off gate because it's kind of rough. Compared to like some of the groundings that some of the other ones had. Even if they get a lot of schlack. So, okay. So yeah, now to give you guys a complete left turn. Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains is next. This one is the 6th one, I believe, and they do this theme with like the digital stuff, and they try to like adapt like Duel Links into it, and it's okay, but sometimes it gets to the point in the show where the main character is like link climbing, and it just gets like ugh. Oh my god, okay. Link 1, Link 2, Link 3, Link 4. Like I'm pretty sure some duels are 2-parters just because some turns can take up to like 5 minutes. But it's got decent aesthetics. It's got great stakes. The whole Knights of Hallow thing is kind of cool. But again, compared to the rest of them, it's the worst. I will say the payoff in this one is better than some, but the slog to get there and the fact that they introduce new characters like in season 2 make it a little clumsy when they should have introduced other characters earlier on to make season 1 more of like an introduction grounded area, but really it was like introduction to Cybers and Link summoning, then the character growth comes second. Because most of the first couple episodes of season 1 are people being like, Link summoned Cybers monsters, what the heck is that? Which Arc 5 did to a better scale with Pendulum summoning. So it was like, to see this one after Arc 5, it was a big letdown, but the end of this is worth like watching the whole thing. Okay, next is next is Part Timer, Devil Part Timer, I think it's called. Okay, it's basically, okay, y'all know I work at McDonald's. Y'all know that. It's the devil working as a part timer at McDonald's. It's funny. The powers and stuff like that aren't as good as some of the slice of life stuff in there. And I will admit, the girl in the middle, I purposely like put her in there because her whole shtick is like she's into him and big boobs. So there is like a lot of that anime-esque whatever, but it keeps moving, like and his like servant, like a lot of the characters are kind of likable except for maybe like one. So it's just kind of like a very nice like comfortable binge of anime if you set it down and watch all of it at once, while also being like, I don't. He's a fish out of water because he's the devil. Surprisingly, I don't know why he doesn't know about how to work as at a job or whatever. But he's basically doing it because he doesn't have any powers. So he kind of doesn't. I don't know. It sets up the rules really good. The finale of this is kind of weird, but it's fine. It's weird. The finale of Reigns in comparison, Reigns wins, but Reigns kind of struggles to keep you watching because it's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh series are long as shit, where this is like a little bit more consumable. Hold on, my controller unplugged. I don't want to get disconnected from this server. There we go. Alright, I want to see if anybody knows about that one. Demonic said, how could you do it? He said, how could you do Full Metal Alchemist? I do hate Demon Slayer, but Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was a fucking slog, dude. That show sucked. Hold on, let me finish. Then you guys can blame me later. Hold on. Yeah, I couldn't see messages. I'm not gonna be able to see chat, guys. But say what you want to say. But if I come back, I'm just peeking. I was just checking on y'all. Alright. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna say it. Uh-oh. What's this? What's this doing here? Hold on. Why does it keep going up? I'm not trolling. I swear to God, I'm not trolling. Look. Sometimes an anime doesn't need an ass ton of stakes, even though Sonic X does have like a lot of stakes. But Sonic the Hedgehog anime is actually low-key fire, dude. Dude, it's just like he can run around the world, like he's already got all the anime tropes, but I don't have to suspend my disbelief. And Eggman's rich enough and doing devious stuff enough where they can just do stuff that the games already did. So there's like a lot of payoff to this show. I'll admit the side character that's like a human, so that they're like relatable, kind of sucks. But he has a mansion, so he basically fixes the whole where do they live, where's their base of operations, and then he's got like a sweet maid, a butler, and then ties with the government and stuff like that, so that they can tackle like bigger issues and stuff like that. But yeah, Sonic's got to give my praise, dude. It's entertaining. It's like a lot of cracks and it's not like the old Sonic that y'all know with like the YouTube poops. It's the newer one, and it was very enjoyable to watch. It's got Shadow in it. It's got Knuckles is pretty funny in it. Tails is a little whiny, but it's pretty enjoyable to watch. It's not bad. I'd say it's better than Part Timer. Part Timer, once you get grounded, it's kind of like routine. Like I said, Vrain struggles to keep you along, and then Pokemon has its like flaws with the whole legendary. Like it's only got Ash and this other guy, and then it uses like a lot of nostalgia to keep you along. Where Sonic X, the nostalgia isn't there. You just get paid off for the nostalgia. It's pretty good. It definitely got its flaws, but it's pretty good. Um, Next is Pokemon Black and White. This is the one that gets a lot more hate than it should. It's because Pikachu gets. I won't say what happens, but basically something bad happens at the beginning of this thing, and a lot of people give it a lot of hate. But it's actually pretty good. It's just the same stuff that we know, but the cast is rehauled entirely. There's no Brock. There's no Misty, right? It's Iris and uh I think his name is Clyde. It's the first and last gym leader. So you have a dragon tamer, and you have a guy that's trying to be a connoisseur. So you have a chef with like food and stuff like that for travels, which is even more handy than the Pokemon breeder. And Brock was already doing all the cooking, and then Iris, who the fact that she's just trying to like find strong Pokemon makes it more interesting throughout the story. And Ash at this point is kind of on the top of his game. So every new Mon on his team is just doing crazy stuff. This is when they try to do a spin where Team Rocket is actually badass. Like they're actually badass. So you have the bad guys stakes going up, a better cast of characters, better knowledge of the game, no like random Deus Ex Machinas or whatever, and it's just enjoyable to watch. Ash switches up his team, it's pretty good. No real, no. He forgot that water beats fire. Like all good stuff there. What we got next? Next is. This is when it gets hard. Next, I'm gonna say. Let's go with Legends or Ultra Sun and Moon. Now, this is gonna be a lot of talking of Pokemon and stuff like that, but I wanted to separate all of them so that you understood the difference between arcs and characters and stuff. So, for instance, even though it's Pokemon back to back, Black and White had 3 casts, right? And Team Rocket gets evil. Team Rocket's really not even in Legends, Ultra Sun and Moon. And in this one, instead of 2 cast members, he's in a classroom of every kahuna in the thing. So it's actually more like a group vacation thing. And the animation style has been completely changed. As a matter of fact, to any people that are subbed to me right now, Ash is the newest emote. So you can see that Ash does not look like himself. Pikachu is more like he acts like his own character. Like it just literally is a good step in another direction, because they were doing hand drawn before this, and now they're doing more of like a other style. And like they'll have nice little stories. Like for instance, there's like a story about like this Persian like bullying like an old Scotland that's trying to protect the Lytton or whatever. Like, and it's, I know y'all don't even probably know what that means, but it's like it's nice that they can just still story tell like these grounded things to make like a stray cat dog story in a believable Pokemon thing, with Ash and company tagging along, and the budget's been really increased. It's not Journey's level. We're not quite there yet, but because there's like Z moons in it, or Z moves in it, which are like ultra powerful moves, and they do see Brock and Misty and stuff like that, even though like I'll go into them showing up in another one. This one's pretty good. Like this one skipped is kind of like, oh man, you kind of missed out on like a bunch of crap. Next is... Okay, I'll rip this Band-Aid off. Kirby. Kirby, right back at you. This one's kind of like Sonic. It's like, if you know the lore and all that stuff, it's like a treat. It's just, most of the time, it's just like, the side cast is like, likable people that are just like caring and stuff like that, and Kirby tackling on just random bosses from the game until eventually you get to like the actual scary stuff in the game. Because as you guys saw, I won't spoil it because I think a couple people are still playing through the story of One Piece, or not One Piece, of Kirby. But a lot of the main bad guys of Kirby's, like in the finales, are like usually concepts of reality. So the eventual stakes that start in like the woodland critters eventually go to the scales of galactic threats and stuff like that. So the fact that it starts off as like it and Sonic, but Sonic stays more planetary. The fact that it starts out as more of like this like calm stuff and then it escalates, it really keeps anybody that's kind of like watching this show on their toes, because they're kind of like, they're chilling and then something starts to bad happen, and it could be anywhere from a prank from DDD to like, Kirby's a Star Warrior. Kirby has lore. Like, there's actual stuff more to him and Meta Knight and all that stuff that makes the show very interesting. I will say that especially if with the early stuff, it's a little like more child friendly if you watch the dub. So for it and Sonic X, watch it sub. Like, 4Kids likes to ruin a lot of anime. One Piece with like their dubs. So just stay like that. All right, I'll put Journey down here with these guys. Actually, better, way better. But just to make some room up here. And I think Vrains is in like the similar tier. And I don't think Part-Timer has like the same relevance. And then we'll move Demon Slayer down one. Yeah, we'll get Bleach down here. And yeah, I guess I only said negative things about these guys, so I'll move them down a little bit. They're still ordered correctly, guys. I just want this to look nice and neat, you know? Alright. For now, I can leave it alone, but once I start adding more, you might see all these go down like a tier. Okay. These are only good ones now, guys. Only good ones. Alright. Okay. I hate to talk about Pokemon some more. However, there's a lot of Pokemon series, and they all do different shit. This is Pokemon X, Y, and Z. This is like the Mega Evolution one. Ash had like a crazy team in this one. When people talk about anime fights for Pokemon, Charizard X versus Ash Greninja's like high quality tournament stuff. And then this is one of the more shorter ones too. So it's got like a little bit of edge on these two, or these three there. Animation's gone up, and like they even try to do like a love story with Ash and one of the female leads too. So it's probably like getting close to where we would want Pokemon to be, but especially with like how the end turns out, it's just shy of Ash, honestly. Like, if this was like a good coherent story like all throughout the thing, sure. But there are some duds, but not all of it. So if like you're into it, it's definitely one of the higher ends. But if you're not, it'll just be at the bottom. I won't go into spoilers because this was one of the ones that Pokemon took seriously with like lore. So I'll leave it alone. I will say another thing that brings it down though, even though it brings back references with like Brock and Misty and stuff, is X and Y is one of the worst Pokemon games in existence. So it does suck that they upped their game on the one that's... Like, it sold well, but it was just trash. So it sucks that they did it with that one. Okay, next is... Next is Parasite. If y'all haven't watched Parasite, I feel bad for you. This was like a nice little one where... Just the premise of the story really quick. there's a aliens are just coming to Earth and infecting people, and they usually go for the head and they control their bodies and fake to be them, and there's like a whole thing around that. But an alien gets stuck with the main protagonist's hand, and he's stuck there, like he's only the hand. So now he's explaining to him the dangers of what these aliens have already been doing, right? Because he wants to survive himself. So it's like a partner thing. So there's a couple bombshells in it, couple mysteries, couple suspenseful moments. Um, Overall though, compared to like some of the more climax ones in this, it's not as good. But as a series, like every episode doesn't really feel boring. Where definitely a couple duds with these, but the payoff with this one is kind of like whatever. So it averages out to whatever all these other ones are. But it's very good. I won't say more than that because that one's a short one and you should watch it. Where the other ones, I can't recommend Pokemon. It's too long. I can't recommend One Piece or Naruto. They're too long. Even though you should watch them. I can't recommend Kirby or Sonic because they're too long. I can recommend Part Timer. So all these small ones that are like right here, like Part Timer, Demon Slayer, Sword Art, or whatever, or even Bakugan. They're small enough where I can be like, yeah, go ahead. But I'm just gonna move on. It's good. It's aliens. So that's something you probably don't see every day in anime because they usually switch it up to science fiction or whatever. We're gonna go back to Pokemon, guys. I know. We've heard it enough, right? This is Diamond and Pearl. Now, funny thing about Diamond and Pearl, guys, it's actually two. It's two different seasons. It's actually Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Galactic Battles, but they're essential. And there's also like Sinnoh League Victors. So there's actually like 3 different seasons. So you have this. The reason why this one's good, but I didn't put it S tier, is because Diamond and Pearl original. Like I didn't want to segregate them too much because I'd be talking about Pokemon all day. The original Diamond and Pearl, where he's just trying to get the badges, is until like the 6th badge. Like it's fine, but it's like run of the mill, just like the rest of these. And then once he gets to like the 7th or 6th badge, where Team Galactic comes into play, genuinely interesting all the way through Sinnoh League. Like Sinnoh, like just look on your own time on Sinnoh League Victors or even Galactic Battles openings. Like they're really good, but the first one's just kind of calm. Like and it's fine, but if it was just all of what we had with the rest of them, because they set it up really well. They give Ash a rival named Paul, who's like a foil to him in every way. So like they set it up good, but because it takes forever, because Pokemon things don't get crazy until you get to later in anyway. It's kind of like a lot of like BS until then, but it's still good BS. But like I will admit that there are episodes that I won't talk about in case you guys watch them that like make me go, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So I'll leave it alone. But it has to do with the arc before, which I won't talk about now because it's actually not. I think it's in a different league than Sinnoh's, even though Sinnoh's was pretty good. All right. On rewatch, next is I was just about to do GX, but I'll do GX next. Next is I can barely see that. Okay, you guys aren't gonna be able to see this one too well, so I'll just put it like it's better than these, and I'll put Sonic X down here. Come on. This is Death Parade. This is like purgatory and like what happens to you when you die, and like it does this whole. You know how No Game No Life had like games every episode that were a little interesting or whatever with brother and sister. Death Parade takes that on a whole new level because the games in question are they're like representations of stuff you went through in life, and if you'll make the same poor decision when you don't know your life's at stake, or when they know their life's at stake, but it's like weird. But it was very interesting. It had a mystery there. The one thing I will say that bring it down is it wasn't really long enough, and the way it ended, it did feel like we could have seen more. Yes, I don't want them to jump the shark, but it does seem like there was areas in that realm we could have explored a little bit more, and they didn't. So it's just shy of like an S tier for me. But I do have fond memories of that anime. It's very good. Um, do we have one more A? Well, we have to. There's so many here, right? Um. Okay. The next A I'll do is GX. I will do GX. Alright, we get to finally talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! I know Vrains doesn't really count. Alright, guys, I love GX. Y'all should love it too. But after Gold watched it a little bit and told me about what he was seeing, it is kind of like a slice of life anime with like low stakes until like I think like 40 episodes in. But the duels are good. Uh, it's not supposed to be taken seriously. This is supposed to be like to jump the shark after the original series ended, and I don't know, man. It's just kind of pleasant. It's pleasant throughout, and then it does this theming. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil any of these really juicy ones, but it starts out as that slice of life, right? And if you watch it, right, which Gold didn't, um, all this stuff you eventually miss because the show goes from this like happy-go-lucky thing to stakes, and as soon as the stakes come into play, it gets sadder and sadder and sadder until basically suicidal thoughts. That's how sad GX gets by the end of it. I won't say the final boss of the guy, but it is everybody's about to basically give up. Like, and it's not the we believe in the main character thing. It's kind of like psychologically everybody's kind of done, and I know in an anime that involves being exhausted during it can kind of seem like very stressful and make you not want to watch it and deter you away. But I think it uses this to its advantage because it makes it seem like the choices that characters are making in these stressful environments are a little bit more believable. Because think about it, if you're stressed out or fatigued or starving or whatever, you're probably not going to make the most rash decisions. Where, like, something like Vrains or whatever, the highest stakes I'd say is probability and, like, or the chance of, like, an Evel Knievel. Like, you might fall to your death or something. Where this has actual, like, serious shit in it. I won't talk about it unless people actually ask me what happens in GX. But this one is like, it's a shame Gold didn't finish it, and y'all are missing out. That's what I'll say about GX. But compared to some of the other Yu-Gi-Oh series, it is a little bit of a drag to get through that first part, especially if you want action. Which action like the school bully or possibly being expelled and all that stuff might not be high enough stakes for you to be invested in. Like sometimes you might need that depressing stuff. You might need murder. You might need all that stuff, and it doesn't come until later. Like so, it kind of like stakes go up and up and up up. Speaking of that though, we're actually gonna bounce away from Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not doing this on purpose. This is actually how I feel about each one of these series. This is where I would put. Is it? Do I want to say that one or the other one? Yeah, I'll say it. Johto Journeys. This one is when they do the second season, and the second season kind of comes off a little awkward at the beginning. But the thing is they bring back so many people. Once they're done with like the first bad, it is back to routine work. I think what they were trying to do is make the main antagonist just keep his power from the last one. But when he was like beating everybody, they tried to turn it into like a plot, and it was fine. But when he actually goes to like the first subset of bashes and has to nerf himself, it actually gets genuinely interesting. Like, so I said I'm not gonna spoil stuff, but like just to give you an idea, One of the badges that's like one of the hardest ones as far as people consider, Ash loses like 3 times, which you can kind of think like, oh man, uh, Ash loses 3 times. That's so many episodes that you have to sit through where he's losing. Like what? But it kind of makes it seem like the protag's not unstoppable. He's got to actually use strategy, and it happens more often than ever. And the beauty with this one too is he brings back a lot of members while also adding new members. So there's like a lot of like, who's he gonna bring to the next fight, and then the episodes are still what they were in Indigo League, but I'd argue Indigo League is a little bit better because Johto starts off a little clumsy, like I said, and um, there's certain scenes that are like compared to original Indigo, it's like what? Where in Indigo it was kind of like that's just sad. Um, and this is when they were trying to really push like some of the like the whole cast of starters in it. Um, but it is definitely worth noting. And I didn't include this on the list, but I'm gonna say it's part of this instead of getting the thumbnail for it or whatever. Um, Chronicles is also part of this section here, which is why it's kind of high too. And Chronicles is like the spin-off version of it, the legendary that's not included in the movie or in the original series. You follow Ethan. It's pretty good. And then there's also like the other subset of series, but they're all basically telling. Oh, thanks for the follow. They're all basically telling like the same, the story. Like, and it's really good. Like I won't go into it too much, but like especially when you get to some of the later portions, like the badges and the leaders and stuff like that, it can kind of get intense. Uh, but for now, it's here. All right. Now we go to the one I was kind of holding off until now. All right, you guys said you wouldn't judge, but this is actually where I put Dragon Ball Super. Oh, what? Oh man, I thought it got rid of the whole thing. Hold up. All right. What a cringe lord. Hold on, I'll get back to what I was doing. What a fucking cringe lord, dude. Oh man, you might as well leave, dude. You might as well go somewhere. Do the people that fall to for that don't have widgets? Dude, dude, if he would have donated to me, right? Hold on, I hate to pause the video for this, but if he would have donated to me, you would have heard this. That's what we would have seen if you actually donated me $10, you dumb motherfucker. Alright, I'm going back to the list. Dragon Ball Super is next. Okay, a lot of people hate on Dragon Ball Super, and I'm not hating on it. It's just it the only interesting things that happen in it is the Tournament of Power and the Universal Tournament. Those tournaments were like the only tournaments that were worth a damn. So when I see Dragon Ball Super, I'm like, you could have just watched the first 2 movies and skipped because the actual anime itself is just padding out 2 movies. So I know this is like hating, and I said only nice things about some of these other ones, but Dragon Ball Super's got like the Jiren stuff, the Tournament of Power is like really good. The Universal one's really interesting. Like I remember watching it every week. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was pretty good, but if you compare it to like something like the originals, it's definitely worse. I will say it's paced better, but this is when I was like kind of like, ooh, Dragon Ball Z is it's okay, or Dragon Ball Super is like okay, but they're kind of disappointing me a lot more now. But it's still really good. And if you watch Dragon Ball Z and Super, was it and GT, definitely want to come around to this one. Like it's part of the whole thing. You'll miss out on too much with like UI and all that stuff. All right, next. I'm actually gonna start making this bottom section a little worse now. A couple of these could have gone in the in like the trash or whatever, but I didn't think I'd have so many, so I didn't want to do it. Average. I guess GX can be the poster boy of B tier in that regard. I could have made an whole another separate tier, but I'm just gonna order them like this. Cause if I make like a fucking A to Z tier list, it's gonna be so incomprehensible. Cause these are all the ones I've ever watched. Period. And GX can be the poster boy of this one. Yeah, it looks better. And Death Parade. They're good. They're good. But these are the better ones. High key Johto Journeys can come there too. I haven't gotten to Naruto yet. Okay. Naruto is down here. Both series are actually down here. I'm not there yet. Alright, okay. I am moving away from Dragon Ball Z for a second. Cause these are these are like untouchable. Okay. Okay. This is just a shout out. But if I were to guess where the series is going, I just started watching this. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. This is the most current one. If I were to put it somewhere, I'd put it somewhere like here. That show has actually been pretty good. Good opening. Looks really good. They grounded the series. Good restart button. It would be here. I haven't finished it yet. I just put it here to be like, okay, I'm starting to watch it. It's decent. It's decent. It's definitely better than Brains already. But the stakes in it do seem a little shallow. But I'm just saying, if I were to tell you guys, because I'm on episode, I think, 11. It's going pretty good. But I haven't finished it. So I'm going to leave it there because it's actually, I have no complaints. Other than the threat in the background doesn't seem too serious right now. But judging by like the Voltron thing they're trying to do, I think it's going to be pretty high stakes. Anyway, though, moving on to actual series that I've watched. This I think would be where I put Zexal. We're finally going to say Zexal. Zexal is A tier. For those about to watch Zexal in my chat, Zexal is pretty good, and people hating on the main OC is ridiculous. A lot of people hate Naruto, and they watched all of it. Like, Zexal has a lot of good story writing in it, and it's got a lot of payoff in it. It's very good. The only thing I can really say about it that I don't particularly like is compared to the series that came before it and the series that came after it, those are better. But this one, I will say, is similar to GX in more ways than one. It starts off very formulaic, kind of like Bleach. Like it's like a bad guy of the week thing, and it doesn't pick up for a while. Once it does pick up, though, it's pretty good. The stakes get raised immediately, and it gets like super good, and then you're never done watching it. Like you're just watching until the end. But that first little bit in the beginning, it's probably what scared off most of the people that give this series a bad name. Like the two rivals or whatever, it wasn't enough for them to stick around, even though they pressed like a lot of issues that you wouldn't think a Yu-Gi-Oh series would touch. Next is Assassin Classroom. I've been waiting to put this guy on here. I was waiting to grab him. Assassin Classroom is funny as fuck. I loved this show when I was watching it. But the payoff at the end was pretty trash. But this was very consumable to watch. Thanks for the follow. Did you follow because I put Assassin Classroom A? This was really really consumable. Like I was just sitting there like next episode, next episode, next episode, next episode. Like I could not stop watching the show when it came out. And then when it finally did the big zinger at the end, I was like, "Oh, really? Okay. Is there more?" And then it was like, "Nope." And I was just like, "Oh, they could have done so much with the main character and all this other stuff." But I was really invested, and it with like a part timer, um, I guess him and Death Parade, like these smaller ones or One Punch, are like a recommend from me because they're small. They're small animes with like even though they have like some cons to them, they're very consumable. Where the Titans that are long as shit, I telling you to watch them, but if you don't have time, it just sucks to be you. But that was really fun. I can't talk about anything that happens in it because it's an assassin classroom. So anything that I talk about would be spoiling you guys of like very jumpy scenes because everything this show relies on very fast paced, snappy interactions. So I'm not gonna say anything about it, other than the fact that that yellow thing you see there, I blew up the moon or something, and like I know that seems like already a spoiler, but it's literally like first scene, the premise of the show. He did that, and they can't kill him. So what he did instead was he's just like I'll do a classroom of assassins, and if they can't kill me in a year, then I'll just destroy everything. So time's ticking, and it's a semester, or not a semester, an entire school. I guess not. I mean, maybe that's a semester. It's an entire school year to get rid of this guy. So they're bonding with him, but also getting tips from him, and at any point in time he could be gone. So it's a very fun one to watch. It's a very good one to watch. It does fall flat with a couple of the characters, but you can easily like ignore it. All right, next is I guess it's finally time to talk about it, huh? Next is Season 0 Yu-Gi-Oh! I know y'all have never seen this before. This is how old I am, man. Season 0 is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series that takes place before Duel Monsters. It was actually the original telling of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it hardly really even has the card game in it. As a matter of fact, the protagonist usually murders the bad guy of the week through pretty grim ways, but it's like that dark, edgy anime that's from the 80s, so it's like Cowboy Bebop and all them. That doesn't look great, but when you see some of these raunchy scenes of like him doing these games to kill people or whatever, it's very rewarding because you're like, oh, that makes sense. That's what he deserves, you know. So so it's a really good one. It does eventually get to the card game, and the card game is like the climax of the series or whatever. But I will say that oh my god, somebody joined the game and now they're killing the guys that were giving me more health. I will say it's pretty good. It still has Kaiba looming around in the back, but he's more of a threat, not like a he's not like what you see in the show. And like I said, it's got a lot of grim stuff in it. It's very good, and it's short, so you don't have to worry about like sitting there all day watching it. Next. I think this is finally time to talk about Pokemon Advance. So, so I talked a little about it earlier with Sinnoh. This is the one. This was the series before Sinnoh. This was Advance. This was when Ash is like finally like, I abandoned my squad except for Pikachu, and I'm tackling this whole new region. And I think the way the series starts is he's just like, I'm doing it by myself. So it's got that whole thing going on for a little while. It was when Pokemon was like basically dying out, but the show was like still good. And then I didn't include this one again, but there's a Battle Frontier after the League, and the League's already crazy, and then the Battle Frontier is even bigger. So it literally is like, here's where we start at, not bad, to great by the end of it, to amazing in some aspects, even greater than like the Charizard versus whatever, Charizard versus Greninja. Like, it's really good. There's not much bad things to say other than you might not like May's little brother. Other than that, it's pretty good. I don't want to. Yeah, I guess it's going this high. This is Dragon Ball GT. Now, I might get flamed for this one, putting Dragon Ball GT this high, but I don't know what everybody else is smoking. I thought Dragon Ball GT was pretty fun. Dragon Ball GT, okay. What is that? Cowboy. Yeah. Dragon Ball GT is literally just Dragon Ball, the original, told, but they go into outer space and stuff like that. Goku being smaller again in Nerf just makes it the tension come back, because now it makes it so that Goku isn't like omniscient and he's powered down or whatever. So it's great. I will say that some people really didn't like the Shadow Dragons, but Baby was awesome. I thought Baby was really awesome. Super 17 was awesome. Get bit all the pack for these. I kind of want to keep those there. And just the way they tied everything in like a neat little bow for the series was pretty good. Like, I enjoyed it. It doesn't really matter which sevens. B tier. B tier. Yeah, B tier. And it's ordered. It's ordered. Ignore the tier list per se. Like, it's ordered. I know Demon Slayer at one point was like all the way up here, but it's still behind everybody else. But GT was good. Super Saiyan 4 was awesome. The whole Turlif's invasion, crazy. Oob getting a shine in it. I thought they did great. When we got Super and everybody's just like, GT's not canon, thank God. I was just like, okay, I guess I'll just wipe that from my memory. I thought it was really good. All they do is make fun of the intro. That's all they do. And I'm just like, I thought it was good. Whatever. Next is... This is kind of like a normie one, but I don't want to lie. Death Note's next. Death Note was pretty good. I watched it like 2 or 3 times. I think 3. Death Note was really good. Like, Season 2 was rough. Because, you know, I won't say why. But Season 2 was rough compared to the first season. But it was still pretty enjoyable and consumable. But it did feel kind of like not as one as the first season. Where the first season was like very like jab, 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 jab. Like of intelligence. And it was kind of hard when it came out. And rewatching it, it really... if you do a second viewing of it, it makes it even more interesting to see what people do and everything, especially if you weren't paying attention to every little thing that was happening in that show. But L's very likable. Kira's very likable. Everybody likes the Shimigami. The whole concept is very creative with writing somebody's name and they die. To the whole chess battle between the two guys to see who can get who first, with its own rules and everything. It's really good. Okay. Next is... Ooh. This is actually kind of tough here. They're close. This is... Oh, no. I almost put Dragon Ball under Attack on Titan. What am I kidding? This is Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is next. Okay, Attack on Titan has issues with it, but when the issues aren't apparent, the show has crazy good openings, and the action is very entertaining to watch. The issues with it is it's usually a lot of first couple episodes are crazy, dies down, lore dump, crazy episodes for the finale to keep you to come back. And it does this routinely, but it can get to the point where you're literally just sitting in an episode, and I don't even mean like one rare occurrence. I mean like it's actually pretty common with this series to go 3 to 5 episodes of listening to just people talk, especially in the most recent season 4. Like we may get a season 5 for all I know after part 3. The way they stretch this thing out. Now I heard the manga's a little bit better at it, but as far as the series goes, it's better than like Death Note and all that because it keeps you on the edge of your seats, and the Titan powers are kind of crazy. But it's mainly that the whole Spider-Man-esque equipment and the Titans, like the way Titans work, is like really really creative and really really fun to watch. That it makes it win, especially when it starts off with the walls. It starts off with the walls and everything, and then once you're spread out to where we're at with Marley and stuff like that, it's pretty intense. So that's why it's high. That's why it's high as hell, because it's pretty good. Next. Next is original Dragon Ball. I almost did this one under Attack on Titan. This has it has the same issues that Yu-Gi-Oh has, the original series. It doesn't look good because it's really old, but original Dragon Ball has so much cool stuff in it still. And it's like the telling of Goku. Like it's just really good. Like I don't want to just say that for all these like high tiers, but I don't want to spoil it. It's pretty much just like Goku has no powers basically besides zero like no real superhuman strength, right? And he's training, he's doing martial arts, it's grounded, and then it just keeps picking up and scaling up and scaling up until eventually you're at Z. And Dragon Ball Original is where you see all that, and it does have some interesting fights in it. Like Tien versus Goku, the whole Piccolo stuff. Krillin and Goku back then was pretty hype. Some of the other martial artists that just have weird gimmicks to them that hold them in. And then like the scaling with some of the guys in the earlier sections being able to hold it down. Not to mention that when they get done with a training arc, they become so crazy that sometimes just getting through the preliminaries is just kind of entertaining to watch. And then the journeys in between that, searching for the Dragon Balls, are very fun, which is why GT is kind of high. When they're like looking for the Dragon Balls, it's just really entertaining because they're going for this wish, but everybody's got their own selfish thing going on, and there's other bad guys. It's just really engaging. Not to mention the whole mystery, what Goku even is by being able to turn into a monkey and whatnot. So, yeah. It's definitely better than Attack on Titan, but not by like too much, because it hasn't aged too well. Alright, we're getting close enough to S tier, but I'm going to put maybe 3 more A's, and then we'll have the Juggernauts. Okay. Okay. We're going to do this one first. This is, what is it called? Pokemon Indigo League. So, just for people that don't know Pokemon like that, Indigo League is the original first season of Pokemon. I gotta catch them all and all that. That's the original one. So, this is where you meet Misty, Brock. You got the Charmander, the Pikachu, the Squirtle, all that juicy stuff y'all love. And he's got the whole Ash doesn't know types. He's ignorant, all that stuff. It leads up to the movies. It's really good. The finale of this thing is kind of like a letdown. But all it tells you is Ash needs to get better, which eventually turns into the rest of the series that were pretty good. Not as good as Indigo League, but Indigo League is like full of a lot of fun. I will say that they do like a lot of like stuff that's not actually in the game. But, you know, it's an anime. They're going to cut corners on stuff like that. It's not bad. It's a pretty good one. I'd say it's better than Dragon Ball, but it's only because the thing with Dragon Ball is its pacing and how old it is. Some of the scenes can kind of be like rough in comparison to these Pokemon scenes, where Pokemon itself is like its own big legacy, and it's got that whole like variety to it with like fire, water, electric, grass, all that stuff. It's got like ashes. Like there's scenes I don't want to say in case you guys come around to watch them, but he gets really close with these Pokemon. Like he almost dies a couple times in it. It's very like I do think that a lot of people don't understand that Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon actually do have like a lot of stuff under the layers of it, because they probably just saw one episode or something, one dud or one gym battle, and they're like, this isn't for me, even though it was actually kind of hardcore. All right, I'm gonna move on. I don't want to get in spoiler territories, but it's pretty good over any of them though. I think we're getting close to the final set of lower ones. Okay, Black Clover is next. I know it's competing against some of these juggernauts, and I don't want to give it too much credit than it's due, but Black Clover is basically Naruto, but with magic instead of ninjutsus. So it's basically like another Naruto one, but they do so much really creative stuff in this. Again, a problem this series has is sometimes the characters just get random amps to service the plot, but overall, this show has like some really good starter things to keep you invested in, and it's ongoing, so it's got that going for it. But it's currently right now on hiatus, but it's a very good show. The main character is likable. It kind of feels like a lot of the stuff in it is a puzzle, and then everything gets put in its proper place with things. So it never feels like they get power ups for no reason, but it does kind of be like it does kind of seem like some characters that were weaker previous arcs have randomly gotten amped because they had a new thought process on it, which I'm not against, but it does kind of nag some of the stuff that the main hero's done. But it is really good. It's got every opening is a banger, just like Attack on Titan for the most part. Attack on Titan has one that does suck, but every opening's a banger. And so it gets you energetic for the episode. And I probably only have one season I didn't particularly like, and I think it was like season 5. And the seasons aren't long either, so it's not that big. And I'll say this: that season didn't have the main character in it, so you get what I'm saying. For the most part, it's a pretty good series, and the way it like nostalgia panders some of the stuff that happens in earlier portions really makes somebody that's watching the whole thing to the end like that much happier when something happens, because they feel rewarded. And the powers are really cool, but that could be said about all of them. But Dragon Ball, I will admit, powers are kind of rough, and then Pokemon are limited by the Mons, and then Attack on Titan's only got the flesh, and Death Note only has the book or whatever. Alright. I think these are the Juggernauts, but I think I'm going to put one more down here, and then I'm going to do nothing but S's for the rest of them. Alright. This was close, but original Yu-Gi-Oh! Is now here. It's in front of Black Clover. Alright, guys. Y'all watched original Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't lie to me. Y'all watched it. Y'all saw Yugi get the Pegasus, Yugi get the Kaiba, and the Battle City stuff, and the Merrick. Y'all maybe didn't watch the Silver Ricasso stuff, and y'all maybe didn't watch the Origins of the Pharaoh. But this show basically franchised merchandise like crazy. And I know original Pokemon kind of did that, but the games were already fire. I just wanted to squeeze that in. Original Yu-Gi-Oh! was that shit, dude. They did break a lot of rules, though. That's why it's kind of only A tier. they break a lot of rules in original Yu-Gi-Oh, which can kind of like detract somebody that actually knows how to play the game. Uh, not yet, Gold. I'm not done. Once I'm done, well, we can play. I'm almost done, guys. We're at the home stretch. But original Yu-Gi-Oh was that shit, dude. If you have not watched original Yu-Gi-Oh, watch the Pegasus arc and Battle City. They're a treat. Silver Orichalcos raises the stakes. Can't recommend. And the Pharaoh one's kind of rough. But overall, these two first seasons revolutionized like a franchise or whatever. And they still get referenced in games even now today because of people liked it that much. And I liked it that much. Alright, we're on S tier now, guys. And at the bottom of the S tier is... I don't think you guys know what this one is either. This is Bobobo. For those that don't know what Bobobo is, this character is a Wiggins. It's just like a black guy with a yellow afro, and his abilities are nose hair abilities. So it's literally like a joke show, but the thing is people do not get how much writing goes into this show and how much crazy things they'd probably have to come up for an episode. These guys break the fourth wall. They basically solo like most of fiction, and it's just a treat to watch. If the problem I'd say with this one that loses to the other ones is if you do not like that kind of style, it can be exhausting to watch the whole thing at once. But this show is fucking hilarious, and the abilities in it are so random, and the continuity in it so random. Like, you could get beat up by like a wet napkin in this show. Like, you're never safe. Like, just to give you an idea, let's just say you're fighting Bobobo. He could be like, I was your son all along, and then you get thrown into a backstory where you and him were father and son, and then that's like half the episode or something. Like, but that's not even like it's not even true. And then it will turn it into a whole nother gag and all this other stuff, and you'll just get gagged to death, and before you know it, he's already beaten the shit out of you. Like it, and like a lot of the characters have that ability, so it's like gags fighting other gags. So think about that really quick. If any of y'all like crazy powers like Dragon Ball Z or GT, it's gag characters fighting gag characters. So it's like who can out gag who, and it's a treat. You have to pay attention hard. You never know when a character is going to get an amp or whatever. You never know if a character is going to have continuity or whatever. They could have a random background character just be cracked for a second. And they could have random power-ups they've gotten a season prior be cut from the show, and they'll be like, yeah, they're not allowed in the show or whatever. Or we thought we were going to be canon. Like, it's all over the goddamn place. And it is so funny. I think in like one of the first episodes, because somebody can't do math, they get wrecked in a fight or something. It's funny. All right. Now the final Kahunas. Dude, I don't like touching this. All right, I'll say it. 5Ds. This is Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. This one's high as fuck. Look. Alright, thanks for the follow. Look, 5Ds is cracked. It is a cracked Yu-Gi-Oh series. I think Ash just watched it, so she knows what's going on. I don't know if any of y'all watch this show, but this show is like... This is when Yu-Gi-Oh got kind of ghetto. And they talk about the struggle, the 1%, like the whole Dark Signers thing, and then they talk about the apocalyptic time traveling. Like, they do crazy stuff with this show, and it starts off so grounded. And all people do when they see this show is card games on motorcycles. Think about it, guys. Try playing Yu-Gi-Oh while you're trying to operate a vehicle, dude. Like, and then they're ramming at you and stuff. Like, the stakes in that show, I can't even begin to describe. Like, just watch the first couple episodes of this anime, and tell me that you weren't kind of like, oh shit, like on certain scenes. Like I'm not gonna say like, of course you could sit there and do that and go against the grain or whatever. Well, technically I am, but this show has like a lot of stakes in it at all times, but they don't have to have like somebody hanging off of a building to do it, because it's kind of like just them dueling. Is usually them hanging off of a building, but then there's usually stuff on top of that, and it just gets pretty layered, and the lore in it is pretty good. I'm gonna move on though, because I do not want to spoil that series for you. None of these I want to spoil. All right, the next one. I'm gonna give it to Z. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry I'm not a normie. Dragon Ball Z is number one thing, but no, Dragon Ball is not number one. It does beat 5Ds though, so don't get mad. Dragon Ball Z is in a league of its own, and it kind of structured a lot of anime like Naruto and all that stuff. However, I can't look at you guys in a straight face and tell you that I do not like the Saiyan Saga. I do not like Dragon Ball Z. Like from Dragon Ball, because I watched it in order, to Z, the Saiyan Saga was like kind of rough. The Nappa Slaughter was just kind of like, oh damn, all these characters that were good as fuck or handy as fuck in the last season are kind of whatever, and it got to the point where it wasn't even really good. Like some people can say the Goku versus Vegeta fight was hard. I thought it was kind of whatever with the Kaiokens and the cut-ins with Yajirobe and Krillin. I didn't think it was really good until we got to Namek. From Namek all the way to the Buu Saga, people hate the Buu Saga, but I actually thought it was fine. Like, I actually really liked the Buu Saga. So for me, it's like, a lot of people are like, Saiyan Saga hard, Namek Saga hard as fuck. Cell Saga is when the series should have ended, and Buu Saga is trash. Where me, it's kind of like, Saiyan Saga was trash. Namek Saga was great. Little dragged out, great. Cell Saga was superb. And then Buu Saga was fun as hell, and I liked it a lot. And I like the Pro Tag. It's a long series, but it's got a lot of like good stuff in it. Next above Dragon Ball is original Naruto. Original Naruto. They're different, not Shippuden. Original Naruto. And yes, this includes the filler. This includes all that filler. Yep. That includes all of it. Y'all remember the turkey ninja episode? Or the ostrich ninja episode? Y'all remember that? Or how about when Sasuke had a cosplay as a cat? Where my real Naruto fans at? Naruto was pretty good. Land of Waves, all that stuff. All that stuff was kind of crazy. They do kind of like jump the shark with certain stuff, but it was crazy until you get to the filler part. If you skip the filler, I guess it's in a league of its own. And we can even say that. But my issues with Naruto is it doesn't get like it does have some dips. Like the Tsunade arc was kind of rough. The forest wasn't insane, and it doesn't really take the tuning dam itself. People really don't start talk about until they're in the elimination round. Like as far as the Forest of Death goes, a lot of people aren't too much fans, and then the Orochimaru like attack on Konoha or whatever, that kind of stuff is cool. But then once it gets like dropped off for the Sasuke thing, a lot of people don't even really care about the Sound Ninja 4. I thought they were fine. And then the final valley speaks for itself, and then you have the whole time skip. But there are some dips. But Naruto is really good. I think it's better than Z. It's mostly because there's like character development in it. You actually know who Naruto is. You know who Sasuke is. The Sakura. Some people thought Sakura was annoying at there, but they did an arc. Kakashi's fun. The first episode of Naruto is like what brings a lot of people in. What episode do you guys even throws you guys in when Goku cuts into the Frieza part, like, or is it like Gohan versus the final seconds of Cell? Like, there's no individual episode in Z that compares to like certain bangers for Naruto. Plus, the ninjutsu is a little bit more creative than Beam Struggles. Alright, next is Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Now, I wanted to put Shippuden next, but I'd be doing Shippuden a disservice by putting it over Arc 5. But this series, Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 is actually, like, I don't know why people don't talk about this show. I have no idea why people don't talk about this show. I thought this show was already top 5 material. Like, I was like number 3 already. And then Gold rewatched it, and I forgot that I thought it had a trash season 1. I forgot that it had so much crazy fights in the first season. So so there's literally never a down with this series. This Yu-Gi-Oh! 5 never goes down. There is no dip. Never. It doesn't start bad, get good. It doesn't start great, go down. It's not like good and then bad. It's literally starts great, right? And then it's still like at this like level, but stakes are going up and then more stuff's happening. So I guess you could say it starts bad, goes good, but it's kind of like it starts great and then it's greatest, right? So it's just a really good Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. And if you're going to start anywhere, you should start and do all 4 Yu-Gi-Oh! Series before you do Arc 5. But if you actually can't be asked, just watch Arc 5. I'm telling you, there's a couple clown moments in it with like the hippos and their thongs and stuff like that. I thought that shit was hilarious. But this series is great. Some people complain about like the CG. I don't really care. Like, not everything in Naruto or like it. Like, look, if I cared about like looks of animes, I know these like 1980 ones are a little lower here, but Demon Slayer would be on the top if I cared that much about it. I don't care if there's like a water effect on his blade while he swings. Like it, these scenes look really good, but they could be better if they're made nowadays. But they're really good. They're better. It's better than these two, believe it or not. Number 2 is Naruto Shippuden. It does have one dip. I almost put Arc 5 above it. But Shippuden only has one bad dip, and that's when they go to war. Other than that, Shippuden is so great, dude. I remember binging the hell out of this series, and I've watched it in original Naruto twice, and oh my goodness, dude, this show was cracked. First time you saw Sharingan. Well, I know I was in this, but how about a Mangekyo? Like, there's so many fights to talk about, right? Itachi versus Sasuke. Naruto versus Pain, right? We got Obito versus Kakashi. Madara versus the Alliance. Like, there's just so many crazy things that happen in this show, and then, like, a lot of side stuff. And then the filler in this is actually not bad. Actually not bad. You still see people put them on TikToks. That's how good the filler is in this. And the Sage art, the power ups in this, they're going to Susanoo and the Sage mode and the Kurama mode are off the charts. It beats Super Saiyan, not in actual combat, but instead of like a hair dye, it's like actual transformations. And yes, you see 2 things here. I did that on purpose. This is my number 1 anime, is One Piece. However, this is One Piece pre-time skip, and this is One Piece current, like Wano. Like all the way, like time skip. So this is all the stuff that includes like Marineford. This is Marineford and stuff, pre-time skip, and this is current. The thing that people need to understand about One Piece is, honestly, you could watch every arc individual, and I could talk about One Piece all day here. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna say it's greatest all time, and I'm gonna say world building crazy, character details crazy, like to a T. The powers are dope. And then here's the thing, okay, guys. Um, let's just take the portions of the first arc here, or all the arcs in One Piece without spoiling anything, right? This feels like an adventure and like the gather of the entire like crew of people with a beautiful climax before the time skip. And then after time skip, it feels like there's a story that started from the gate. As soon as the time skip happened, there is a story that is the cogs like the map has been laid out. This is what we're starting. This is what we have to do. This is what the end looks like. And it started I think in the 500s and we're in the thousands and we're still in that canonical story waiting for that payoff. And for some of you that might be kind of trash, but for me, it's kind of like every step we took, the whole adventure that this one was already good at has a destination. Where this one halfway through it, we were already in the Grand Line, and then it was more just like sightseeing, but getting members of crew and then like having crazy moments in it, as well as discovering that how many strong foes there actually are out there. With like the grand finale to it, where this one's kind of like we're strong, other people are strong, who's gonna win? And the sightseeing has only gotten better. So, greatest anime of all time is One Piece, but I'm saying that like of the two individual series, even though they're the same series, pre-time skip compared to time skip's like insane. Because you have to remember that this started in like the 90s. So like it starts off not looking the best all the way to by the time it's right before the time skip, it's really cleaned up. And then all of time skip just looks beautiful, especially now where we're at. So that's my list, guys. That is the list of all the anime I've seen, right? And where it is as far as like I think. So when people tell me hot takes or they've ever wondered like what I think of a series, here it is.